over because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma.
Political debates these days aren't about thoughtful discussions. They've become battlegrounds where logic clashes with strong, uncheckable beliefs. This time, Bill Maher dove right into the fire, challenging Whoopi Goldberg in a heated exchange. That had everyone talking. But this wasn't just another celebrity argument. It was a wake-up call. Known for being blunt and unafraid to speak his mind, Maher has spent years calling out hypocrisy on both sides. But his latest confrontation with Whoopi was unlike anything we've seen before.
Part of our sorry racial history in this country is that the point of view from a black person is often going to be very different and sometimes shocking.
Conversation wasn't just heated. It highlighted the growing divide between elite progressive views and the everyday challenges faced by regular Americans. Whoopi, sticking to her usual stance, relied on the same talking points you often hear on The View. While these might sound good in a polished media environment, Maher wasn't having it. He hit back with facts, breaking down her arguments one by one. The contradictions in her reasoning were too obvious to ignore. And for once, Whoopi was left struggling to respond.
So I know that you're a comic, but you basically go after Trump and Biden, both of them. And a lot of people are not happy with you about that.
I'm not equally.
Well, not equally, because you know that Trump is more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger.
This wasn't just a clash between two TV personalities. It was a reflection of the growing gap between elite progressive ideals and the reality faced by everyday people. While Whoopi stuck to the usual elite narrative, Maher went straight for the heart of the issue, asking the tough questions that mainstream media often avoids. The exchange split audiences. Some praised Maher for his blunt, no-holds-barred approach, while others rushed to defend Whoopi. But one thing was clear. When ideological talking points are really put to the test, they don't always hold up. Before diving into the debate, it's important to understand the two main players. Whoopi Goldberg is a vocal supporter of liberal policies, often dismissing criticisms of the left as exaggerated right-wing talking points. She's known for standing firm in her progressive views and rarely considering opposing opinions. On the other hand, Bill Maher doesn't fit into a conservative box. He's a traditional liberal, but one who refuses to follow strict ideological lines. His willingness to question both sides gives him a unique voice in political conversations, making this debate anything but ordinary.
He was never going to give up power. Long ago, when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot, and I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot, because plainly, I was using the term slow-moving coup before he was elected the first time.
That's right.
I said, this guy is never going to concede power. It's impossible to imagine him going,
Debate heated up when Whoopi brushed off concerns about crime, inflation, and the struggles of working-class Americans, labeling these issues as exaggerated. Maher quickly shot back, pointing out that these aren't just political talking points, they are real issues affecting millions of people. Instead of directly addressing Maher's criticisms, Whoopi avoided the heart of the matter, giving vague responses. When she did engage, her defense relied on outdated economic arguments that don't match up with what people are actually going through. Despite claiming to advocate for marginalized communities, certain political figures often overlook the issues that these communities truly care about.
Pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but you know I'm saying what I really think is true.
Right.
That's. Yeah. Okay. And look, Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
That statement quickly lost its weight when Biden moved to pardon his son, revealing the hypocrisy. Maher made it clear, If rules only apply when it's politically convenient, they aren't rules, they're empty words. Whoopi struggled to respond, faltering as Maher's logic took over. The room's energy shifted, and for once, it was Whoopi on the defensive. Maher then focused on the media, calling out mainstream outlets for suppressing the Hunter Biden scandal before the election. He argued it wasn't just bias, but a deliberate control of the narrative. Whoopi, visibly shaken, dismissed it as a right-wing conspiracy theory. But Maher pointed out that even left-leaning journalists admitted the story was buried for political reasons.
Once said to me, what you guys in the liberal side of it don't get about Donald Trump is we don't like him either.
Yeah.
It's just that in this country, it's binary. I mean, gender may not be binary, but politics is. You only get two choices. And the stuff that they are afraid of, they see Donald Trump as a bull.
Maher pointed out that Black and Hispanic Americans are increasingly distancing themselves from the Democratic Party. Polls consistently show that these communities are more patriotic, supportive of law enforcement, and less tolerant of unchecked illegal immigration than the white progressive activists who claim to represent them. Yet, instead of addressing these real concerns, Democrats continue to cater to elite ideologues, push in policies that don't reflect what people actually want. Throughout the debate, Whoopi Goldberg struggled to keep up. Faced with Maher's fact-based arguments, she avoided directly addressing the issues, relying instead on vague emotional appeals. This is a common pattern in woke politics, sidestepping real substance in favor of deflection.
Story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
Of the most telling moments came when Maher directly challenged Whoopi on the priorities of Black and Hispanic Americans. Rather than acknowledging that these communities care more about economic stability and public safety than progressive activism, Whoopi dodged the question and steered the conversation elsewhere. This is the fatal flaw of woke politics. When confronted with inconvenient truths, its most vocal supporters refuse to engage. Instead of adjusting to reality, they double down, change the subject, or dismiss opposing views altogether.
White House, like in 2013, to hint, hey,
Hint.
spend more time with the grandkids. That would not be a good idea, Ruth. And she didn't take the hint, and she was not in good health, and she stayed too long, and she ruined her legacy and got the Supreme Court now to be a pretty right-wing organization. Said Biden shouldn't do that. But, ego, he's Dracula. He has crossed oceans of time to be here, and he's not going to give it up now.
Whoopi fell into the same trap as her arguments crumbled. In a last-ditch effort, she tried to flip the script, playing the victim and accusing Maher of misrepresenting her views and trying to make her look bad. But Maher wasn't twisting anything, he was simply holding up a mirror, and the reflection wasn't flattering. Faced with undeniable facts, Whoopi had nowhere left to go. Her only defense was denial, but by then, the damage was done. Maher's takedown was especially powerful, not because it came from a conservative, but because it didn't. As a lifelong liberal, Maher has been deeply embedded in progressive circles, making his critique of the modern left impossible to ignore. Unlike many political commentators, he isn't an outsider looking in. He's watched the evolution of liberalism from within. And what he sees now is a movement that has strayed far from its original values.
Closer to the home. It's like my kid is coming home from school, and they're not allowed to tell me if they're transitioning. The school is going to take the side of the kid over the parent. Stuff like that. There is a lot of crazy stuff on the left. This book, there's stuff that each side is going to like. And
Maher's ability to critique progressivism without being labeled right-wing gives his arguments extra credibility. He doesn't follow ideological purity tests, and while that's made him an outsider in some elite circles, it has earned him respect from those who value independent thought and real debate. What made Maher's critique even stronger was his delivery. He didn't use sensationalism or insults, just clear logic and precision. He dismantled Whoopi's arguments, exposing contradictions she couldn't defend. The impact was clear. Whoopi, usually confident in her views, struggled to respond, falling back on vague remarks that weakened her case. Her frustration was obvious, but without solid counterarguments, she could only deflect and deny. This wasn't just about Whoopi losing a debate.
The Donald Trump situation is what's going to get him elected is this woke stuff that a lot of people in this country just don't go for.
Well, one thing that I break with is that you can disagree on candidates, but when one talks about literally upending the entire democracy, that's my heart out. There's not an equal.
Fearlessness in calling out contradictions within progressive ideology makes him one of the few mainstream voices willing to challenge the left from within. He's not a right-wing pundit trying to tear down the left. He's a liberal who refuses to follow the party line. This willingness to break ranks has earned him respect from conservatives and moderates. While frustrating progressives who demand unwavering ideological loyalty, his exchange with Whoopi Goldberg wasn't just another celebrity spat. It symbolized a larger battle for the future of political commentary in the United States. As mainstream media becomes more ideologically driven, figures like Maher stand out for refusing to conform to partisan expectations. Unlike many media personalities focused on pushing narratives, Maher's ability to critique both sides makes him one of the last truly independent voices in political discourse today.
This is a show watched by a lot of women. Women have no rights in this place.
Could this be a turning point? If people continue rejecting performative outrage and prioritize open dialogue over ideological conformity, the woke establishment may find itself losing ground faster than expected. The cracks in the foundation are already visible, and Maher's verbal takedown of Whoopi Goldberg might just be the beginning of something much bigger. Are we witnessing the downfall of scripted media, or is this just another controversy that will fade away? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. There's plenty more to uncover in the next one. See you soon!